delighted you stopped by. My name is Becky B. I am not a professional makeup artist, but I am a makeup enthusiast who loves doing little experiments like this one. So I've mentioned before, I pretty much stick to higher end makeup, or have until now, because my skin is very oily. Cheaper makeup didn't seem to work as well as the other stuff I had been using, but makeup seems to have come a long way in that time. I've got a whole bunch of Wet n Wild makeup that we're going to try today. And I'm not just going to put it on, I'm going to see how it lasts. Now that's kind of the inspiration for this channel in the first place. I was watching YouTube on my TV. My husband was sitting next to me. I was like, they tell you these dupes and they tell you color dupes, but how is the formula? They never tell you if it lasts as well. And he said, well, you should do that. And I said, that's hilarious. But then I'm doing that. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to wear a paper mask. I have to go to work for a half day today. It is the weekend. So it's not going to be a full 12-hour wear test like I usually do with the foundations. We're just going to see how it lasts in like a normal day of doing stuff. First up is the Photo Focus Coconut 3-in-1 Primer Water. This is to prime, set, and refresh. So I got this to be the primer and the setting spray. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. Okay. We're going to start with our eye look, as always. This long-lasting Photo Focus eyeshadow primer. I did get one brush. This is the Bretman Walk X Wet n Wild Eyeshadow Precision Blending Brush. It just looked like a nice shape. I mean, it's just a fluffy blending brush, but I figured you really can't have too many of those. And I'm going to use the Ice Cream Bee eyeshadow palette to create our look today. The first one that I got was broken, so I returned it. I got a new one. This one's a little chipped too, but it's not shattered like the other one was. So it's good enough. We're going to open it up and see what it's like. Whew! They do not make that easy to open. That sticker is really on there. I was very taken when I saw this. This is why we're starting with Wet n Wild as our first drugstore find, because ice cream is one of my most favoriteest foods of all time. Bees, hello Becky B, that's the theme of this channel. The packaging is pink. Was it made directly for me? Sure feels like it. I'm very, very intrigued by this sort of weird little multicolor. That one's called It's Sherbet Day. Let's swatch it. It looks really interesting. Comes a kind of a goldy color. Here's this purple one called Milkshake It. Oh, sorry. This one's called Malt With You. Now we're trying Milkshake It. So I'm not expecting like a ton of pigmentation, and maybe that's ignorant, but let's try them out. I'm going to start in my crease with, let's try this light one. I think it's called You Got Served. Ooh, it's very powdery. Got a lot of kickback. This brush is okay. It's definitely not the softest or nicest brush that I've ever used, but it's not super scratchy or anything. Now, I mean, I know I go for the purples and pinks a lot, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm really sorry. I just love them so much. Okay, we're gonna do this bright pink. Is called Anything is Popsicle. Is gonna go on our lid. Yeah, this pigmentation's not super impressive. The shimmers have a lot less kick-up than that matte that was just like instant boom powder. Let's try our finger since it's a shimmer. Let's see if that gives us a little bit extra. It's really pretty on the finger. Let's see. Oh yeah, that works a lot better than the brush. Now it actually looks like the same color as in the pan. Try Brain Freeze. It's quite pretty. I'm gonna tap that on the first third of the eye. I'm gonna take this dark purple called Black Terrific. It's a matte. Ooh, lots of powder. I'm gonna put that on the outer corner. Yeah, not terribly exciting. It looks darker in person. Like it looks like more happened, but it's still not like great. Let's put Malt With You on our inner corner. Yeah, it's like so multicolored in the pan, but I think it just comes off as gold. I'm gonna take Milkshake It. Just Add that up here, get a little sparkle going on our brow bone. Under here, I think I'm going to try this guy called Raisin the Roof. It's sort of a dark purple shimmer. Ew, sort of makes us look bruised. Let's get a makeup wipe and okay, instead, let's go into this guy called It's Your Birthday. It's like white with a blue sparkly shift. Let's put that under here and see what happens. Not a whole lot, but it's pretty. You know what? Let's try one more. Let's go into this guy, Mint to Be. Definitely not the most pigmented palette I have ever used, but the colors are pretty. For eyeliner, we have got the Break It Proof, Waterproof, Retractable Gel Eyeliner in the color Blackest. Took a minute, but pretty good. Let's do our waterline with that as well. That was not so bad. Not too bad at all. Foundation is our Photo Focus Foundation in matte. I have the color Nude Ivory. Okay, it's got like a paddle. I got their sponge as well. It was sent to me as like a free gift with purchase. It's fuzzy like the Juno & Co. one, and it grew a lot when I got it wet. So I'm actually pretty interested to see how this goes. Okay, it says, mattifies and blurs pores for a shine-free finish. Buildable coverage for normal to oily skin. I mean, it went on pretty nicely. The coverage is pretty light though, so I'm going to do like just a couple more dots of it. I think it's pretty so far. The sponge works pretty well. It looks nice going on. Let's move on to the Photo Focus Concealer in the color Light Ivory. Oh, so far that is a pretty foundation. Let's stick with my sponge. This concealer is kind of a drier formula. I needed more than one dip to get those just small area that I was covering. Powder is the Photo Focus Translucent Powder. The Bretman Rock brush is the only one I got, so I'm going to use my Tarte Mermaid brush to put on this powder. I feel like that did give us some nice mattifying properties. Eyebrows, I have the Ultimate Brow Micro Pencil in the color Deep Brown. I think it's supposed to be like the Benefit Precisely My Brow. It's got a very thin tip and a spoolie. That actually worked really well. I kind of like that. Blush, I have the Color Icon Baked Blush in the color Don't Flutter Yourself. And it's cute. It's got like a hummingbird in it. See? Hummingbird. Going to put that on with this Primrose for Sephora blush brush. Definitely felt like I had to grind this in there to get any payoff, but it's quite pretty once it goes on. For bronzer, I've got the Color Icon Bronzer in the shade What Shady Beaches. I'm going to put this on with a ColourPop F1. This one has pigment, like immediately. Tone might be a little too warm for me. It's a little on the orangey side, but the color payoff is pretty instant. Highlighter, I've got the Mega Glow Loose Highlighting Powder in the color I'm So Lit. I'm going to apply that with my Sephora Pro Highlight number 98 brush. Wow, that's glowy. That's wow. We have arrived at lips. I have the Mega Last Liquid Catsuit in the color Oh My Dolly. Well, depending on how drying this is, and how this wears down, I'm fixing to be very impressed. That was one dip. Final step mascara, I have the Max Volume Plus Waterproof Mascara. A lot of words on this. And I got the color Amped Black. Interesting wand shape. So far, I am pretty impressed overall. Some of the products I like better than others. I had the purple liquid eyeliner and it was so terrible that I returned it and got the stick one that actually worked really well. Not the best mascara I've ever used, but not terrible. Let's give us one more squirt of our coconut primer water. hold this far away from your face. The sprayer is extreme. It's good, but it's like, it's wet. I'm really interested to see how this foundation wears because it looks really pretty so far. It is already starting to crease up a little, which is not awesome, but I mean, it was like $6. So I'll be back later and we'll see how this wears down. Bye. Hey guys, it is the end of the night. I left it on a lot longer than I meant to, actually. It's been about 10 hours. When I got home from work, I was so hungry that I went straight into dinner, and then I was too lazy to come up here and do this. So I'm about to go to bed, but that means we really put it through the ringer. You know, honestly, with some of these products, I'm pretty impressed. The foundation did not hold up as well as our higher end ones did. It's splotchy where my glasses go, but that's nothing different than anything else. But there is like no foundation left on my nose at all. And it is kind of noticeably patchy in some places, and it is kind of greasy. It's gathering in my fine lines. I definitely look greasier in person than I do in the camera. Looking in the camera, I'm like, well, I'm on the very dewy side of dewy, but would I call that greasy? When I look in the mirror, yes, like it's an oil slick across my face. It did nothing really to hold my face oils back, but really, I mean, that's for 10 hours. I actually think this Photo Focus foundation in the matte, when I was putting it on, it felt very much like the NARS Soft Matte. It seemed to go on similarly. This had a little bit less coverage, but they were really kind of similar, and then they looked kind of similar on the skin as well. This one wore off better, like in a less patchy kind of way. It also let less oil through, but I mean, the price difference between these two is astronomical. Like, this is $40, and I think this was $6. If you're looking for a dupe for this, maybe I should make a video where I wear one on one side and one on the other. Like this one, I use the Wet n Wild primer water. If I use real primer, the one that I usually use, I wonder if that would act differently. I think that I'll have to try that. But for the first few hours, it looked comparable, I would say. Eyeshadow primer worked really well. I'm like not creasing up at all, which is very impressive because you see how greasy I look elsewhere. My eyelids are probably one of the greasier parts. The eyeshadow primer seems to be legit. The eyeshadows, once they were on, they stayed on great. Like the pigmentation stayed pretty well. They definitely don't perform the same as a lot of the higher end shadows that I'm used to. I think the item that I am most impressed with is the Liquid Catsuit Matte Lipstick. This baby, wow. It has transferred a little bit, but honestly, less than that Bite lip stain. And that one costs $25, and this guy costs $3. There's really nothing to be mad out there. I will absolutely keep wearing this. The color is so intense. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. It is not over drying. It did not wear off in an ugly way. It's a little bit patchy on the inside, but I ate 2 meals with it on. Honestly, it still looks pretty good. I am very impressed by the Liquid Catsuit. The powder was normal powder. The blush didn't really do it for me. You had to really build up the color, and I don't think it stuck around really awesome. The bronzer was very pigmented, but it's not my color. I don't think I'll wear it much, but definitely it stayed on. The highlighter stayed great. It is still glowy and beautiful. The highlighter did wonderfully. And is that everything? Oh, the concealer I didn't like to begin with. Yeah, I mean, it was dry. I can see that gathered the most. It's just kind of really meh concealer, but the foundation and the highlighter and the lipstick, I am very impressed with so far. It's definitely not the best foundation I've ever used, but it's also not the worst, and it is definitely the cheapest, so. The sponge was a lot like the Juno & Co. sponge, but it's not quite as squishy. I think this is maybe half the cost, but the other one's only $6 to begin with. I mean, I'll still keep this one around, but it's definitely not going to be the first thing that I reach for. The brush was fine. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. The brow pencil. I'm going to keep using that brow pencil. I'm probably going to reach for that over the Benefit brow pencil. The only thing I don't like is that the caps look exactly the same, but they're not the same length. So if you put the spoolie one on top of this, you're gonna smash that right off. So that's the only thing that I would change about it. It's definitely not that big a deal. If I do smash it up, I could very easily and cheaply get another one. But I think that it did as well as the Benefit Brow Pencil. I said it. I think this did as well as the Precisely My Brow. Try it out for yourself. I think it was like $1.50. I don't know how well this kept things on. I don't know how it would have worn off differently, but it smells really nice. And it was very refreshing. So I'm not sure how effective it is for the prime and set, but as a refresh, very refreshing. So here's the mask that I wore. Now, I think actually less of it came off than the NARS, but also came off in more places, but it came off less on the top than it did with the soft matte. However, I basically put this on and went to work and put this on immediately. With the NARS, I had it on for like 6 hours before I even put on my mask. So it had already had 6 hours of wear, 6 hours of face oils before I even put on the mask. So leave me a yes or a no in the comment box if you would like to see a wear test done between these two to see if we can officially, I don't know, categorize them as dupe. The lip color came off a bit on the mask, but it didn't come off in a way that looks crazy. It didn't get on my chin at all like the bite one did. Liquid Catsuit has impressed me to no end. I think that covers all of the products. I hope you enjoyed this video. I think it was really fun getting to try out some new stuff, especially things that are much, much more affordable. Several of the products exceeded my expectations. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. I would love to do more like this. I hope you are having a wonderful night, day, week, month. I hesitate to say year, knowing what year it is, but I hope you're having a fabulous life, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!